So what's our newest federal holiday? I'll give you a second. It's Juneteenth, June 19th, and it celebrates the last day that there were slaves in the US. On June 16th, 2021, it became a federal holiday. This is an image of Billy McCrae. He grew up in slavery in Texas. Through the crackles and hisses of the 1940 recording, we can hear Billy McCrae tell of his history, of our history as Americans. Some of the most haunting aspects of these recordings are the matter-of-fact nature in which people discuss how they were enslaved. His voice shines through as he discusses his youth way back in slavery time. Join me to take a listen.
Yes. Now I'll tell you when slavery, way back in slavery time, I was standing out, you all got every day to see the Yankees all going back home. And all the Yankees dressed in blue clothes. Then they come along in with a lot of these old gray mules. And after a while, there'd be a whole troop of men come. They said they were Yankees, all walk. Next time you see, there come a whole troop of Yankees, all riding horses, guns hanging on there, all going home.
McCrae's memories are in the Library of Congress's Voices Remembering Slavery. Freed people tell their stories. Fountain Hughes gives us amazing wisdom.
My name is Fountain Hughes. I was born in Charlottesville, Virginia. My grandfather belonged to Thomas Jefferson. My grandfather was 115 years old when he died, and now I am 101 years old. You all try to live like young people ought to live. Don't want everything somebody else has got. Whatever you get, it is yours. Be satisfied. And don't spend your money until you get it. So many people get in debt. You spend your money before you get it because you're going in debt for what you want. When you want something, wait until you get the money and pay for it cash. That's what I've done. If I wanted anything, I waited until I got the money and I paid for it cash. I never bought nothing on time in my life. And if you got the money, you can go where you choose and buy it when you want it. You see? Don't buy it because somebody else go down and run a debt and run a bill, or I'm going to run it too. Now, I'm 100 years old and I don't owe nobody 5 cents. I'm happy, just as happy as somebody that got millions. Nothing worries me. My head ain't even white. Nobody can come and say, Mr. Hughes, you owe me a quarter, you owe me $1, you owe me 5 cents. No, you can't. I don't owe you nothing. Why? And I'm living too. And I'm 100 years old. And if you take my advice today, you'll never make a bill.
He was 101 years old when he was interviewed in 1949. He was a teenager when the Civil War ended, and he remembered it all.
Now, in my boy days, boys lived quite different from the way they live now. They had a good time, and the masters didn't treat them bad, and they was always satisfied. They never wore no shoes until they were 12 or 13 years old. Now people put on shoes on babies, you know, when they're a month old. I don't know. Put shoes on babies. Just as soon as you see them out in the street, they got shoes on. I told a woman the other day, I said, I never had no shoes till I was 13 years old. She said, what, but you bruise your feet all up and stump your toes? I said, yes, many times I've stumped my toes and the blood run out of them. That didn't make them buy me no shoes. Who did I work for?
Yeah.
You mean when I was a slave?
Yeah, when you were a slave, who did you work for?
Well, I belonged to Burnley's. When I was a slave, my mother belonged to Burnley's. Slave children, and soon after, when we found out that we were free, well, then we were bound out to different people. And we'd run away and wouldn't stay with them. Well, then we'd just go and stay anywhere we could, lay out at night and anywhere. We had no home, you know. And we just turned out like a lot of cattle. You know how they turn cattle out in the pasture? Well, after freedom, you know, colored people didn't have nothing. Colored people didn't have no beds when they were slaves. You know, slept on the floor. Just like a lot of wild people. We didn't know nothing. And there were some freeborn colored people where they had a little education. But there were very few of them where we was. I might call it now jail sentence. We're just same as we was in jail. Now, I couldn't go from here across the street, or I couldn't go to nobody's house without I have a note from my master. If I had that pass, I could go wherever he sent me, and I'd have to be back. Whoever he sent me to, they'd give me another pass, and I'd bring that back, so to show how long I'd been gone. We couldn't go out and stay an hour or 2 hours or something like that. But I couldn't just walk away like the people just now. It was what they call, we were slaves. We belonged to people. They sell us like they sell horses and cows and hogs and all like that. Have an auction bench and they put you up on the bench and beat on you the same as beating on cattle, you know. Sell the women, sell the men. I was too young to sell.
Although General Robert E. Lee surrendered April 1865, federal troops led by Major General Gordon Granger did not arrive in Galveston, Texas until June 19th, 1865. So those folks didn't even realize that they were free for over 2 months. Granger issued General Order Number 3, informing the people of Texas that all enslaved people were now free. The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with a proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This is one of the houses where the last slaves were in Galveston, Texas. And Juneteenth signifies when the final group of enslaved people in the United States were informed of the end of the Civil War, the end of slavery, and the end of the brutal bondage that had defined their lives. Thank you so much for spending time and learning about Juneteenth with me. The Juneteenth holiday reminds us of inclusivity and love. So from myself to yourself, thank you for joining me on this journey, and happy Juneteenth.